My husband told me that we were going to buy a school. I went, oh my God. It's like, what do you mean?
That woman's name is Orestella, and her husband meant exactly what he said. When back in 2016, they purchased Cascade Elementary School in Cascade, Wisconsin.
It's way more homey than you realize, just because it kind of reminds you of your old days when you went to school.
Yeah, it's easy to be reminded of school when, your place is outfitted with stacks of kiddie chairs, urinals, drinking fountains, display cases, and even a principal's office. Because, it was a school that hasn't seen any students since 2010, when area schools were consolidated. This elementary school was originally purchased as a workspace for Richard's electronics business. But after selling that business and their home, well, the couple decided to move in, where they've been making the most of their 13 bathrooms and 6 classrooms. 5 of which have been turned into bedrooms that also appear to store workout equipment too. You have a gym, right?
Probably the biggest adjustment is the distance from one place to the other, and then having to say, honey, where are you? So that we carry our phones with us, like, where are you,
Makes sense, given it's a 17,000 square foot building on 18 acres, which is now up for sale, if you want it, for a measly $850 grand. That price, though, does include a bunch of old tables and chairs. And this place could make an ideal spot for homeschooling or just school homing.
A bigger family, a growing family, an in-law situation, this is the place for you.
I was gonna make a deposit.
Yeah, don't bother, because as you can see in this video taken in the wee hours of the morning on Tuesday out in Washington, someone takes this stolen front loader tractor and uses it to nab an ATM near a Seattle Pacific University bookstore. The cash machine then gets pushed into the middle of the street, and 1.5 miles away, police say the stolen machinery and the stolen automated teller machinery were found abandoned and then recovered.
Most people, what do? They steal the car and ram it into the thing or something. That took a lot of ingenuity, I guess.
Nobody's been arrested yet, but this type of industrial strength smash and grab job is nothing new. In just one example from last year, out in Oakland, California, some thieves used a backhoe to try to take an ATM from an AM/PM. Now naturally, when something like this goes down, locals tend to have questions. Though not always about crime or safety, but practicality.
Well, somebody had to know how to do it. I mean, I would think they would have keys, or can you hotwire a front loader?
You probably need experience to drive one of those, because they have special buttons, to get it going.
Seattle police are still looking for 2 suspects. The person in the front loader and someone in a pickup truck that was following along. And that guy who attempted to use the ATM chalks this whole thing up to something of a creative side hustle.
Right now, the economy, is hard, tough, so people thinking ideas how to get money, I guess.
It's not something I ever thought I would be doing, and the closer we get, the more pressure I feel.
The nerves of this baker in Vermont are being put to the test by more than 100 pounds of butter, 100 pounds of shortening, and some marshmallow fluff being sandwiched between a pair of 200-pound pieces of cake. Because that's what her bakery is going to need to make the world's largest whoopie pie. The versatile big fat Oreo that the New York Times says is either a cookie, a pie, a sandwich, or a cake. After all, the 3rd annual Whoopie Pie Festival is coming up in Rutland, Vermont, where at 4:15 p.m. on September 14th, set your alarm, this woman's bakery will be attempting once again to set the type of world record that requires heavy machinery. Last year, they made a 770-pound whoopie pie, but big whoop. The World Record Academy says a 1,067-pound whoopie pie, heavier than your average grand piano, still holds the title for the world's largest whoopie pie, which was set in Maine back in 2011. Anyway, come September, Dreammakers Bakers hopes to best their pie from last year by more than 200 pounds. Perhaps ushering in a new space race-like era that pits our nation's finest whoopie pie festivals against one another to see how far mankind can truly go.
It's incredibly nerve-wracking. It's a little unbelievable at times.
Well, that's another weird week down here in these United States, but time marches on. And we'll be back next week with another roundup of some of the strangest stories we've come across from coast to coast. My name is Greg Ott, and this is your Daily News Refresh. We put out new short and long videos covering weird, funny, and interesting news stories each and every day. Give us a like and a hot subscribe, and leave us a comment to let us know what you think of this stuff. In this recent piece about Florida's annual Python Killing Challenge, Toda 2638 just wrote, "Yoink, great point."